isolate. He will be forced to publish the name.
And coming up in business, Ghana Stock Exchange returns 4.46% in dollar terms to investors only in the first month of January. Of course, raising expectations of a bullish run this year. We have details in 30 minutes.
Coming up in sports, a former Asante Kotoko midfielder is being pursued by the Interpol over match-fixing allegations. We'll be exploring this and what it means for the club going forward in the next 50 minutes.
We have details of these stories and more. Send us your views and comments on WhatsApp at 055-1111-997. My name is Ernest Manu.
I am Emefa Apawu. We'll be right back after this break.
55, 78, 58, 70. Hey, Charlie. My network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers via mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's $10 of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now. Vodafone Cash? Mm-hmm. But my network is... Hey, sending money on that your network, you pay. Sending money on your network to other networks, you pay. But guess what? Sending money on Vodafone Cash is free. Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is also absolutely free. No charges at all on Vodafone Cash. So tell me, what are you still doing on that your network? Massa, look sharp, then move to Vodafone Cash. Hey, make a change the SIM right now. Yeah, sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is now absolutely free. Send unlimited amounts of money as many times as you like for free. Just dial *110# now to send money.
The future is exciting. Ready?
My buddy, make you start the year off by stepping up with DSTV. DSTV, they come give you more of the entertainment you and your family like. So fasten your seatbelts as DSTV will take you go higher with more epic live soccer, exciting local drama, and the best kids shows. My people, all you have to do is, starting from 14th January to 31st March, upgrade your current DSTV package to the next one, and DSTV go bump you up to the one above that at no extra cost. It be that simple. So for example, let's say you have access. All you have to do is pay for family, and DSTV will give you compact at no extra cost. Follow us with the hashtag DSTV Step Up for more, or call us on 0302 740 540. DSTV, it's your moment.
And you're welcome back to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, they included mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters, all of whom were on separate journeys, and the thought of death never crossed their minds. But in an instant, their lives were snuffed out when the vehicles on which they traveled collided head-on. What was left was a wreckage of twisted metal and body parts and clothes scattered on the road.
Now, tonight, 2 more lives have been lost. That's 19 lives lost under tragic circumstances. About 45 others are battling for their lives following the accident involving 2 buses at Sarichekura, a farming community near Fufosa in the Savannah region. An eyewitness, Amina Isahaku, recounts what happened.
Jamila.
And so that's an eyewitness account. Amina Isahaku speaking to us there. Let's go on to the phone lines now and speak to correspondent Isaac Nonya, who has been following this incident. Isaac, what is the latest on this accident?
Yes, Manu, everything remains intact as what happened. We reported in the afternoon because the transfer of a referral of 5 people from Holistic Medical Center has been infected, and a woman and her child also from the Bupe Polyclinic have also been referred to Tamil Teaching Hospital. But the latest, which is becoming worry, has to do with the woman who spoke to us, Amina Isahaku, because she claimed that one of her children, she was having 2 children. She thought the 2 were with her, only for it to know that the little one, who is a female, is not where to be found as we speak now. She is calling on the police to help her locate where her child is. It's not so clear whether there are still people trapped under the buses, or they were able to remove all of them. as the police were just trying to go deep to find out if they could still retrieve some bodies under the two escort buses.
What about the vehicles? Are they still at the scene of the accident?
Yes, the two vehicles are still at the scene of the accident. We are told the MTTU, together with the Ghana National Fire Service, are finding a way to get the owner of the vehicles so that they could tow the two of them to Tamale.
Isaac, thank you very much for bringing us update on this tragic incident that happened today. Well, earlier we spoke to the acting public relations officer of the Savannah Regional Police Command, Owusu Ejekum, and he blamed the accident on fatigue. Listen.
Our initial investigation tells us that one of the drivers was actually sleeping. At the moment, 17 people, I can say, are dead, and about 45 thereabout injured in various degrees of injury, but they are responding to treatment as a holistic medical and then Bupe Polyclinic. When it comes to these buses who travel distances from Garu to Mpani to Accra, from Garu to Kumasi, we will admonish that the operators at least should get two drivers, like how the FCC company is doing. FCC bound bus from Tamale to Bolga or Tamale to Accra will have two drivers. One will be driving while the other one will be relaxing. So in case there is any tiredness, one takes over. So if there were to be two drivers on board, I don't think one will be sleeping and then get involved in this kind of gruesome accident.
So that is the public relations officer of the Savannah Regional Police, Owusu Ejekum, there speaking to us earlier. Let's go to the phone lines now and speak to him. He joins us live. Thank you very much, sir, for your time here on Newsnight. Now, what more have you been able to establish about the gory accident today?
Thank you very much. At the moment, we've established that the passengers on board the two buses were 78. Out of the 78, 47 were injured in various degrees. 13 of them, God willing, were unhurt. And 13 male adults died. 4 female adults died, and then 1 girl who is below 18 years also died. At the moment, this is what we have established.
And so we're talking about 18 people altogether who have lost their lives.
Yes, the dead persons.
Yes, so the death toll is at 18. Just a while ago, we spoke to to our correspondent who indicated that the eyewitness who spoke to us at the scene of the incident is complaining of the missing child. Has that come to your attention?
No, there is no such report on our desk.
And what about the vehicle involved in the accident? We understand that they still remain there. Is it the case that you are gathering evidence, or you're still working to be able to clear it on the road?
The vehicles have been cleared from the road, and we are contracting a heavy truck to convey them to the Bupe police station.
And let me find out about the 47 injured. What's the degree of injuries, for instance, and how are they doing?
15 of them were critically injured. Out of the 15, 1 died whilst receiving treatment. So the 14 are currently at TTH Tamale responding to treatment. And the rest are in Bupe Polyclinic and Holistic Medical, which is also at Bupe.
And those who have died, the 18, for instance, have you been able to make contact with your families and so on and so forth?
Two of them, 2 of the families two of the deceased person's families have come to identify them. So we are waiting for the rest.
And earlier, when we interacted with you, you mentioned that the cause of this could have been fatigue. You've been interacting with the drivers. What exactly did they tell you?
The two drivers have all expired. So, looking at the evidence on the ground and those 13 people who were unhurt, they confirmed to us that nothing like tied belts or a broken metal or something happened. It's just a matter of one vehicle veered off his lane and then collided with the other. So it is just a mere fatigue. The driver may have asleep.
For families who are listening who may be wondering if their relatives were involved in this accident, which mortuary have they been deposited so they could identify them if the need be?
Come again with your question, please.
Which mortuary have the bodies been deposited?
In Tamale Teaching Mortuary, Tamale Teaching Hospital Mortuary. That is where the bodies have been deposited.
Thank you very much. That's the acting public relations officer of the Savannah Regional Police, Owusu Ejekum, there, giving us details of that rather gory accident today, in which 18 people have so far lost their lives. Let's go on to the other phone now. We have the regional director of the Road Safety Authority with us on the line, Alex Ayata Atibu. Thank you very much, Mr. Atibu, for your time here on Newsnight. First, the issue of, last week we spoke to one of your directors at the national level who indicated that they had plans of implementing or making sure that drivers or transport companies actually do have 2 drivers on such trips and a notebook to indicate the stops and other things that will help with such investigations. Now, is that being complied with generally within that area?
Good evening, and I think that, of course, that is the idea. That is our confirmed belief that it is good to really have 2 drivers for each of the drivers. I mean, the transport unions that, of course, that apply these highways. But for now, I am sure that we are yet to arrive there. Apart from STC that we know, the rest are not. I just heard you interview some of the officers. I will wish that we do an investigation to come out with the real numbers. I do not want us to bundle some numbers as of now because I'm hearing a lot of different figures from left and right. I'll spend my whole day in Bupe from clinic to the hospital where I am picking my numbers. So I would wish that let us get, at the end of the day, we'll do investigation and come out with the real.
So what numbers are you picking up from your rounds? From your rounds, what are the figures that you're picking up, especially from this particular
that is
accident?
what I'm saying. I just heard about 40 something injury and all that. I have spoken to the stakeholders, fire service. They were the first to be there. I spoke to police. I went to do my own checks at the clinics, the hospitals, and all that. I do not want to put any number at all there because it is going to contradict the numbers that we've heard around. So please let us get to the. In fact, I want us to, you the media houses, let us get to the bottom of this issue to know exactly the numbers that died and the injuries. I do not want to add. To give any contradiction.
So we just spoke to the police, Mr. Atibu. The police just spoke to us and mentioned that 18 people have died.
I've heard that.
But you are the Road Safety Authority. And what are the figures that you have? Maybe you could just give us those figures as well. Emefa.
Emefa. I want to indicate that when I got the initial information from those who were at the ground, the fire service were the first to be there. The number they gave me is different from what I'm hearing from everybody who is talking. Okay, of course, the police also have their number. So I am restraining now to believe that when we do the investigation, we'll arrive at the real number that got killed this early dawn. because 16 died at the spot. From what I got from the first people who were there, and that was from the fire service. Later on, some also died. So I do not want to give any number. But the question of 2 drivers, it is very, very excellent that, of course, we really champion that cause. Now, it is curious to know that the people who died or the injury, those who were involved, from Zebila and Garu, they are just nearby towns. And the question is, all the time we hear of Garu, all the time it is Zebila or Upper East. For 4 good years, anytime there's an accident in northern region, either is now Savannah or northern, it's from Upper East. The question is that there was fatigue, and there's always fatigue. The fact that somebody was driving from Kumasi, it is the Kumasi vehicle that veered off. And from what I have gotten, the driver slept off. But here we are, they are not alive. But those who were in the vehicle saw that the man was tired. He was tired exactly and slept off. So I'm thinking that, of course, we need to really look at this situation and scenario. About 3 weeks ago, it was people, the same area from Garu, Boku area. The distance from Boku to Accra to Kumasi is the longest so far coming to the northern sector. And when they get to Savannah or Tamale, that is where, when they fail to stop for 4 every 4 hours of drive, 30 minutes of rest, we need to ask them, when they started from Kumasi, did they stop at any place to rest? And what time did they leave? What time did they get to wherever they got to? So we need to look at this. 2, the drivers, anytime they stop for rest, what do they normally take? Is it food, alcohol, or whatever? 3, we must ask whether that driver, what was the last time he drove to Bolga, Boku, Accra, Kumasi, or whatever. So we need to know all this. So I'm sure when we go in to investigate, we will understand. But the issue of 2 drivers, we need to work on it seriously and implement it. Otherwise, we'll continue to allow our people to die on the highways.
We're grateful for your time. We'll leave it here. And that's Mr. Alex Yata Atibu. He's a Regional Road Safety Director. That's for the Northern and Savannah regions there, to giving us the latest on that particular accident earlier today.
Over 2,500 people were killed through road traffic accidents in Ghana last year. Latest statistics from the police MTTD suggest that this is unprecedented. Shockingly, 1,056 of these deaths were from motorcycle accidents. So Lieutenant Dr. Samuel Sasumensa, Director of Operations at the MTTD, spoke to us.
The total number of accident cases that were reported to the police, and for the other matter, the MTTD is 14,886. And that's 15,517 got injured. And the total number of those who were killed were 2,589. But when you compare it to the previous year, what we find out is that the accident rate, everything is increasing. So it's as an issue we have to deal with, and we have to deal with it professionally. So that's why we've instituted many measures to deal with the canker.
And so that is the Director of Operations at the MTTD speaking to us there on the figures that were recorded last year, and many of them due to, motorcycle accident. Emefa.
Well, and the National Road Safety Authority is very worried about this sharp rise in spite of the ongoing nationwide Arrive Alive campaign. Now, we can hear from the Director of Planning and Programs of the National Road Safety Authority, David Osafo-Adonting.
As I speak to you now, at the end of 2020, last year, we have recorded 2,500 deaths. Unprecedented. It's never happened in Ghana in the past 2 decades. All our statistics, all our deaths have been less than around 2,000, hovering around 2,000, 1,800, and sometimes 2,100 or 2,200. Currently, as I speak to you, the latest is that we have recorded 2,500 deaths. This, I said, is unprecedented and it's unacceptable. And that is how come we are now using the various platforms, including multimedia, to scale up our campaign. This time around, we're saying arrive alive, because it is important for people to arrive alive. The major objective, the main objective of anybody who comes from home to hit the road to wherever you're going in terms of destination, is that you must get there safely. And that is why we say we should arrive alive. And so arrive alive has come to stay. We are going to talk about arrive alive for the next decade, which means that our interest now, just not only on the reduction as you have seen over the past decade or so, but reduction in numbers to the desired levels, where we say the barest minimum. And that is why the National Road Safety Authority has now been set up. Our major objective is to reduce the deaths and injuries on our road to the barest minimum.
That's David Osafo Adontin, Director of Planning and Programs of the National Road Safety Authority. And our Arrive Alive campaign is in partnership with the National Road Safety Authority, also Logistics Movers and Toyota Ghana Limited. Once you're driving and you're tired, just park, take a rest, and then continue. It's better to arrive alive than to lose your life. So make sure that you protect those loved ones, especially transport vehicles. Make sure that you protect those who are on that vehicle. It appears that this is more of a pandemic than 2,500
we are dealing with many pandemics, apparently.
And today alone, 18 lives have been lost. How many has Corona taken so far? In the country, we're told officially it's 416. So we need to take it seriously as well.
But of course, we need to take COVID seriously because it also kills very quickly, and the new strain, we are told, is very, very dangerous. Now, doctors at the COVID-19 Treatment Center of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital at Ridge are warning that the case management at the facility may be compromised if a dedicated oxygen supply point is not provided immediately to the COVID-19 ICU there. Though the main Ridge Hospital has a dedicated oxygen plant, supply is yet to be extended to the COVID-19 treatment center. Now, so far, 19 people have succumbed to the virus at the facility in 2021 alone, with 16 beds currently occupied by the sick people so far.
We can hear from lead on COVID-19 case management at Ridge, Dr. Emmanuel Ahiable, interacting with my colleague Manuel Kranting.
Currently at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, otherwise known as Ridge, our main challenge is getting continuous flow of oxygen to our COVID ICU. As you are aware, we have 16-bed COVID ICU, and almost everybody in the ICU require oxygen. When we started somewhere around October, when we opened the COVID ICU, we earmarked only 8 beds for ICU. At the ICU, they require high volume of oxygen. But now with the surge, we are using all the 16 beds for patients who are severely ill and critically ill as well. So we put them on oxygen for a long time. Currently, what we have is a manifold with a number of oxygen cylinders behind the building. So that is what supplies oxygen to the patients. But sometimes we run out of oxygen. So when we run out of oxygen, we have to bring cylinders, standby cylinders, and connect the patients on them. I don't think that is good for an ICU with 16-bed capacity. So we've informed management, and they are doing frantic efforts, they're making all frantic efforts to get the center connected to the oxygen plants at the hospital. And they say it's a little bit expensive, so they are working on that. So for the interim, we have oxygen, but the flow is not good enough. So we do have erratic problem with the oxygen flow. That's our main concern.
The question is that how dire is the impact of this erratic flow on the treatment of the cases that you have? We know that all of the 16 beds that you have are dedicated to critical and severe cases.
No, it's not good enough, because if the oxygen flow is erratic, we cannot use ventilators. We cannot intubate patients and put them on mechanical ventilators, because when you put them on mechanical ventilators, they require more volumes of oxygen. So it may prevent us from putting patients on mechanical ventilators. That's how dire it is. So I think the earlier this problem is solved, the better.
Well, we hope that this is addressed as soon as possible so we can take care of the sick at the ICU. Meanwhile, as more cases are reported to the hospital, Medical Director at the facility, Dr. Emmanuel Sorofenyo, says that Ridge Hospital has taken stock of new gadgets that will enable it test for COVID-19 samples.
Now, another thing that also compromises the bed space is delay in getting results. So as we are here now, government has given us a machine that can also test for the COVID. So when the patients arrive to our emergency, we have an algorithm that we use to determine whether it's a suspected case or not. So when the patient arrives at the emergency, we'll do the test there and then, and within few hours, we'll have the results, and then we know where the patient should be placed. This is going to reduce the need for holding, because currently we keep patients on the ward as holding for a long number of hours, and this situation is going to stop once we start operationalizing the machine. The machine has been installed, so we are going to start barely by tomorrow. We'll start doing our own internal testing for the sick patients. When they come to the emergency, we will test them early enough, and so we'll have a situation where we'll not need a huge space for holding of cases. We don't test ourselves. We take the samples and have to send to Noguchi or Kolebu Teaching Hospital testing lab before we know the results. So that is what is happening. There is a delay. Yes, now we are going to have a testing lab. We'll focus on the emergencies that arrive at our emergency departments.
So that's Dr. Emmanuel Soropenyo. He's a medical director at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. Now, the mortuary workers also have some concerns.
Definitely. Once people are dying, then they are affected.
Of course, they are asking government to provide its members with PPEs as a matter of urgency in the wake of growing number of persons dying from COVID-19. Richard Kofi Jordan is General Secretary of the association.
Fear is that as Ghana Health Service is reporting of a number that they claim are victims who are falling out of the disease, we think that there are a lot of them who are also dying at home that are not going through the post-mortem system. We are not too sure what is their cause of death. So we think that if government is reporting figures, they should report with a note indicating that this number that we are reporting exclude those who have died at home without going through any medical examination, who are also deposited at the mortuary. We are faced with these challenges of handling every type or every scenario of death, whether with COVID or not. And we think that we are not being protected enough to deal with all of these mess that goes around the mortuary.
So what are you demanding?
In fact, we are saying that as a matter of urgency, we do not need to talk about people. They need to provide them, as in this time, everything that we need to work with to protect us and the general public. We need to have them. Secondly, we are also saying that the president has issued a ban on funerals. Now, this ban on funerals means that people should resort to private burials. Now, with the private burials, there's a ceiling which says that you should have a maximum of 25 people. But you know, Ghanaian people, we are not conversant. For that matter, people have started cancelling their burials, waiting for the next lifting of ban by the president. The long-term effect is that very soon you hear us talking about how much is getting full.
That is quite worrying. If people are cancelling their funerals because of the ban, then, like he's saying, very soon the mortuaries will be full.
But private burials are still
exactly, and I think
people
must be encouraged to do that. You can hold a funeral probably later when the conditions are okay. And so you have that Richard Kofi Jordan, General Secretary of the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana.
It's time for business. When we return, we'll take you to Parliament, where the leadership are getting tough with MPs they say have tested positive for COVID-19 and are putting the lives of others at risk as they continue to attend business in the House. We have more on this as the majority leader supports calls to name and shame those recalcitrant MPs. But that'll be after Charles Aite gives us business. Charles.
Exactly. Hi, Emefa. So coming up on business tonight, Ghana Stock Exchange returned 4.46% in dollar terms to investors only in the month of January, raising expectations of a bullish run this year. Plus, Second D's Chamber of Commerce to release reports on the impact of COVID-19 in the region. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MT, and welcome to a new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essential. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Look at you, the big boss.
You know they here.
You know they fear who?
Until somebody says, I will tell your mother.
That's why we say wear a mask, or else
we will call your mother.
Hey, why are you disgracing me? Why your mask?
Wear it for her. Wear it for me everywhere you go. MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Our 130-year journey at Allianz has seen our operations growing to cover over 92 million Allianz customers in over 70 countries worldwide. Allianz Life Insurance Ghana, a subsidiary of Allianz Group, has put together a wide range of insurance packages to suit the pockets of every Ghanaian individual, family, group, corporate body, as well as their employees. Kindly call us on 030-2267-892 or 059-144-9686 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more enquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
Joy 99.7 FM.
And welcome to Business on Newsnight. Now, the Ghana Stock Exchange has returned 4.46% in dollar term to investors only in the first month and few days of this year, contrary to previous years when the market went through turbulent times. This is coming on the back of about 7% gain in the market in December last year, and the trend appears to be continuing. Already, Data Bank Research is forecasting an annual return of 24% for the Ghana Stock Exchange this year. It attributes its projection to a rebound in economic activity, improved investor confidence, alongside a compelling market valuation. Away from that, the Second D Takoradi Chamber of Commerce and Industry will undertake a comprehensive research to unravel the impacts of COVID-19 on its members and the business environment in the region. The move is to help develop a good support scheme for members and also find an innovative solution to deal with such occurrences. Vincent Annan is the Chief Executive of Second Takoradi Chamber of Commerce and Industries.
Most of them, because of the travel ban and all that, these multinationals were not coming and going, and so it virtually came to a close. Or a halt. Then the suppliers were also not working. The manufacturing, those into fabricating to support oil and gas and mining were not working. Those performing various services were all hugely affected. For COVID, especially with the travel and tours, the tourism sector, it's been massive, and we're undertaking a research to ascertain the impact because we want to work with figures. So we are on the ground undertaking a research.
Vincent Annan is the Chief Executive of the Second D Takoradi Chamber of Commerce and Industries. The newly appointed Chief Executive of Universal Merchant Bank, Nana Jumo Bene, has assured that the bank will set its lending rate in accordance with the policy rate, which is the rate at which commercial banks borrow from the Bank of Ghana. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana kept its policy rate at 14.5%, an indication that the cost of loans will be relatively same, at least for the next 2.5 years. According to Nana Bene, UMB as an indigenous bank still prioritizes its customers as business partners and won't go contrary to the rates set by the Bank of Ghana. And that entered for Business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, Charles. Let's do some of your comments now. You've sent them via WhatsApp. It's 055-1111-997. Also on Facebook, some of you have left your comments there. Thank you so much. This one is from Sir Prempe in Legon. It says, the accident spree on the Tamale Buipe Road are devastating and worrying. Ghana Police and Road Safety Commission must up their game, he says. And Walanyo in Akwatia says petitioner's lead counsel Chachikata is only in the Supreme Court to express his grammar, and how on earth to retort to your Lord in the Supreme Court question as an irrelevant and expect him to rule in your favor. Really. Now, Kofi Seidu says the Ministry of Transport should make it a point to the effect that long-distance bus drivers should mandatorily have 2 drivers, he says.
And Abuchi Philip says, Black Wednesday, the numbers of people who died, the numbers, okay, you're saying that the numbers are too much and that policemen are not checking drivers. Rather, it is very important for them to...
so he's talking about the 2 cities.
2 cities.
He says. And the family should accept his condolences.
Well, it was difficult reading the message because of... this one, Rauf in Tamale says, these accidents on our roads can only stop when the speed of the drivers is controlled, and we need to do that. AU Farouk Tamale says, may their souls rest in peace. #Newsnight.
And we have one from citizen Sika Togo from East Legon. It says, I think the restrictions imposed by the government are laudable. If we can effectively implement them, we must reduce occupancy in public transport in our market by 30%. We'll take a final one from Nindo Katuchi Intema. It says the dismissal of the NDC's application by the Supreme Court for the inspection of EC document was in the right direction. The NDC is trying all that they can to delay the case with their relevant applications, he says. Some of your comments that you've sent in, thank you so much for sending them in.
Now, some members of parliament, although having tested positive for COVID-19, are still attending to duty in the House and entering the chamber to partake in the proceedings. That's according to the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe Sewusu. Now, you recall last week the Speaker of Ombudsman threatened to mention the names of those MPs who do not avail themselves to be tested. This threat is yet to be carried through, but speaking on the floor of the House today, the Bakwa MP announced the Speaker has directed that those MPs desist from entering the chamber. The first Deputy Speaker also noted that more than 50 MPs have still not subjected themselves to the COVID-19 test.
Thus far, about 50 members of Parliament and staff have not submitted to the test. I'm pleased requesting any member or any staff who has not submitted to the test to please do so immediately. Secondly, Mr. Speaker wishes me to draw the attention of members to the House that some members of Parliament who have in fact tested positive to the COVID are still coming to the chamber. The Speaker wishes me to inform that if those members do not withdraw and isolate, he will be forced to publish the names of members who have tested positive in order to warn the rest of us. Please, let's take this protocol seriously and let all members who have been informed of their test results that they have tested positive withdraw from the precincts of Parliament, not just the chamber. Stay home and self-isolate, go through the protocols and recover before they return to the House.
Now, the Minority Chief Whip Muttaka Mubarak is suggesting that the names of those who have tested positive be communicated to whips on both sides so they would prevent them from coming into the House. He's also warning other MPs to keep their distance.
After the test, our medical director talks to the whips on their side those who have tested positive. So you assist, you keep the confidentiality, but you assist the members to stay away. You also know them as whip to help them stay away. Without necessarily telling, for example, Honorable Anodon Prayer, who is the whip for majority, the members on the minority, or telling me, Muntaka, the members on the majority, but members on my side, I need to know so that I can help the House ensure that these members are not only in the chamber, but they are also not in their offices. So I hope that this will be done. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, all of us, those who have taken the test, even where it is negative, it is important that that report, that sheet is given to every member. You just don't keep quiet and tell me that if I'm not called, that means I'm negative. If it is only when you are positive that you call. No. Give me, as good as the results of my test, negative, so that I can keep it. But not to keep it to yourself and say that if you don't receive a call, that means you are negative. If you receive a call, then you are positive. What if I don't pick my call?
So that's the minority chief whip, Mutaka.
It's got a point there.
Mubarak, yeah, because we know that when you test, most of the time, when you're negative, nobody gives you the results. But Kweku Asante sat through proceedings today, and he joins us in studio. Kweku, what was the reaction of the MPs? Because knowing that you don't know who is positive, who is negative, but they are all there, what have they been telling you?
Right, so as soon as the Deputy Speaker made that announcement on the floor, most of them shouted, "Hey!" And some of them were demanded, "Oh, where are the names? Where are the names?" But then the names were not mentioned. So when proceedings were adjourned tomorrow, I spoke to some of them who were like, "This is some private matter. They do not want to speak into people who have not done their test and all." But then Majority Leader Chairman Sabonsu is saying that from next week, MPs who have not taken their test will not be allowed into the chamber.
As of last week, Friday, 60 of the members, not members and staff, 60 of the MPs had not submitted themselves. And it was what occasioned our recalling the technical people to come back. The Speaker, yesterday, only 3 people submitted themselves. Today, only 5 have. So it means that out of the 60 that have not submitted, 52 have still not submitted. And that is the danger. The Speaker, it's important that we submit ourselves. They were to leave at 3, and I've pleaded with them to stay up to 4:30, and they said to me that they can only stay up to 4. I'll plead with members, those who have not yet submitted themselves, to please exit to go and submit themselves.
And so that is the Majority Leader, Chairman Sabonsu. Kweku, what other issues happened today in Parliament?
Right, so former NDC organizer and now MP for Buim delivered his first statement as MP, and he is saying that the facts he has gotten from some of his constituents is that the licensed buying companies do not have money. And so they buy cocoa from farmers, but they don't give them their money. They tell them that they should wait for a while, and that government, through Cocoa Board, has not released the money. So he delivered this statement on the floor. It actually became a subject of heated debate from both sides. The minority insisting that most LBCs do not have money, they are cash strapped, and the majority insisting that from the information they have from Cocoa Board, they have paid. And so right after proceedings were adjourned, they actually came out again, and then Mr. Kofi Adams, together with some NDC MPs, held a press conference to try and give more points on this specific issue as had happened. And then the NPP also held another press conference addressed by the Deputy Majority Leader, Afenyo Markins, who said that they actually read a letter from Cocoa Board insisting that no single LBC has not been paid. Okay. And so if Kofi Adams has names of LBCs who he claims have not been paid, then he should mention them.
Thank you very much, Kweku Asante. But I'll take you back to COVID-related issues, because we are learning that 184 COVID cases have been recorded in the northern regional capital, Tamale, since the beginning of 2021. The region currently has 100 active cases and 80 recoveries. Martina Bugri has been checking on this, and we're told that an 8-month-old baby has also tested positive. Martina, tell us more, especially about this 8-month-old baby.
What we do know is that parents of the 8-month-old baby got infected, and so a test was done on the little baby, and then it turned out positive too. But we are told that she was asymptomatic, and so she stayed home, and the treatment was done at home. As we speak now, she's had a test, and then it's come out negative, and so she's negative now. But yesterday, the region also recorded a 1-year-old, and so we have 2 toddlers now who have tested positive for COVID-19 in the northern region.
Thank you very much. That's Martina Bugri there. But we'll turn our attention to Kumasi now, because some public sector officers in the Ashanti region are implementing a shift system to contain the spread of COVID-19 at the workplaces.
Yes, and you heard Dr. Patrick Umabaji talk about the workplace spread, and so people have been encouraged to do that. Now, when you go to the Ifija Kwabre South District, a similar thing is happening there, and Nana Ojima was there, and he talks about measures they've adapted to help curb the spread of the virus.
Private must employ a shift system for workers, in addition to the use of virtual platforms for business or work.
This after the call, some public sector players have started cutting down the number of staff reporting to their office. The staff population of the Ifija Kwabre South District has been reduced to ensure social distancing protocols. The Client Service Department and the Office of the DCE Secretary have fewer staff to ensure social distancing. Christian Edupoku is District Chief Executive.
Had it not been this, and you come to this assembly, I'm telling you, you come and see the population, so huge. But because of the shift system, we have decided to, work around things so that some of the staff members will come 3 days and others will come 2 days. And when the next week, those who went for 2 days will come 3, that sort of, and it's working perfectly.
So that's Nana Ojima's report from the Ifija Kwabre district there, and it's now time for the latest in the world of sport and Longman.
I'm interested in the story that he's about to tell us. Tell us more about it, though.
Former Asante Kotoko midfielder Sule Muniru is currently being pursued by the Interpol over match bribery allegations in Ghana between the period of October and November 2020. Despite Asante Kotoko parting ways with the midfielder on January 22nd, the club has responded with a statement on the issue. And in the statement, Kotoko describes the situation as a desperate attempt by FC Nouadhibou and Mauritanian authorities to save a frivolous protest case lodged against the club. The Porcupine Warriors say they will urge all involved to cooperate with the Ghana Police Service to bring closure to this matter. Let's now head to Kumasi to hear from multimedia sports journalist Kelvin Owusu.
The subject matter seems to be a bit divided on the front. For some of them, they believe that for Asante Kotoko, they finished everything associated with Muniru Sule after the termination of his contract mutually with the club. So this is just his own doing and he has got nothing to do with the club. But they're just pleased with the club bringing out the release to at least clear things up. For others, they think depend. They get worried that with such a player who has issues surrounding his personal life and all other engagement, it really becomes suspective of Asante Kotoko signing him and then just a few months later getting rid of him. Some of them want the club to dig deeper, at least help with other investigations and then later come back to clear things up on what actually is the issue. Well, some are worried. They believe that this could probably get them out of the CAF Confederations Cup and want their management to act as quickly as possible.
Still on Kotoko, the 23-time Ghana Premier League champions are in league action currently at the Accra Sports Stadium. The Porcupine Warriors are being held to a 0-0 draw against bottom place side Inter Allies. It's also half-time in England as league toppers Manchester City are cruising at Turf Moor, leading by 2-0 thanks to goals from Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling. Elsewhere, Leicester City also lead Fulham by 1-0. And there will be more Premier League action at 8 p.m. when Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool welcome Brighton at Anfield. That's your sports for now.
Thank you so much, Reku Ampofo. I don't know if you live anywhere close to Kaswa. Reku and Ernest.
Well, I have family there, and so I go there from time to time.
So you know about the traffic situation there, right?
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
So tonight, some residents of the area are calling for the relocation of the Weja Kaswa toll booth as they raise concerns about the many productive hours wasted in long queues just to pay 50 pesos and 1 Ghana cedi tolls. They contend the relocation of the toll booth or its automation will help resolve the challenge. Maxwell Agbagba has been to the area. Here's his report.
I'm standing very close to the Weja Kaswa toll booth. During the day, during the morning rush hour, the traffic situation here is on the eastbound stretch heading to the Central Business District and its environs. During the evening rush hour also, the traffic on the westbound section of the road. I've been speaking to Bashir Angote, who is the chairman of the Tuba Taxi Drivers Association.
Well, the issue is that the toll booth have been there for a very long time.
And it's high time they have to move the toll booth from the position he is now to another location. Otherwise, the traffic will be still there. Yeah, it's the toll booth, of course, because you see, this road is the main road from Central Region to Greater Accra. And a lot of residents on the Central Region used to work at Accra. So during the morning time like this, at least from 5 a.m. up to 10 a.m., the road is very, very busy. So it is the toll booth that is slowing down the cars.
Many of the residents we've been interacting with here tell us the traffic situation gets dire to the extent that some motorists and car owners are compelled to leave their cars here and join public transport to their various workplaces. They attribute the problem to the narrow stretch leading to the toll booth. Some of them also say that the deteriorating state of the road closer to the toll booth has aggravated the problem.
I think if they remove it, the traffic will be low. Yeah, because when the car is coming, that place is no good. Even where the car will pass, and that place is no good. So the car will slow down before the car will enter the toll booth for them to pay and then go. So when they remove the toll booth, the traffic will be low for us so that.
The traffic situation is very bad. I suggest maybe to bring the traffic down is the toll, if they can do some expansion.
The only people who are unperturbed about the bumper-to-bumper traffic situation are the sellers here. They say this is their source of livelihood. They cash in on the traffic situation here and do not want authorities to relocate the toll booths.
Because
Maxwell Best reports there. And Johnny's contacted the Ghana Highway Authority for a response. They promised to get back to us after an assessment of the situation. And for those who are listening to us, probably many are listening to us in traffic.
Yeah.
And they can really appreciate the situation better.
I'm checking if they've been interacting with us on that.
You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's return to COVID-19. And this week, we've been bringing you the experiences of people who, fortunately for them, have had COVID and recovered, or others who are doing well. Today, we'll bring you the story of our colleague, Johnny's editor, Israel Lai. He spoke on the morning show, sharing his experience after being infected. And it's, just listen to this.
I actually didn't have any symptoms at all. It was because a colleague named me as a contact. That's how come I went to test. It was rather after I had taken the test that day that I started feeling a little funny. I had a slight headache, really slight headache, and I was feeling a little feverish. But that was it.
So how are you coping now?
I'm well. Yeah, I should say.
Describe the kind of health care you are receiving.
It's mainly being advice from doctors. So I visited a doctor at UGMC who prescribed some medication for me. And then he asked that I also take some tests. And so I've done those. And they're essentially just advising that I take a lot of rest and I taking a lot of fluids, a lot of water, and just rest. I shouldn't stress myself out.
What advice would you give to everyone listening to you right now?
I'll just tell people that, look, we all need to be very, very careful. I believe I have been quite careful. One of the most careful people you would meet. But yes, it turned out that I got infected. But I'm also thinking that it's probably because I have been that careful. That's how come maybe my symptoms are not really severe. I just keep urging people, keep your mask on. Since it happened, the doctors have advised that I actually double mask. And so that's something that I'd have to do subsequently. But yes, please keep your mask on, all of you.
So that's our colleague Johnny's editor, Israel Lai, sharing his experience with us. And Israel is one of those who is very strict about the protocols.
We call him the COVID prefect.
Exactly. When many, especially during December, let down their guard because we thought that the numbers were going that well, he was one person who kept on reminding everybody that you need to mask up. And you don't get close to him if you don't have your mask. But then again, we are learning of the new variant, which is more dangerous and spreads rather quickly. And so we are safe here. We are taking all the protocols seriously. Those who need to be tested are doing so, and we are fine.
Yeah, very fine. And that's it for tonight's edition of Newsnight. And guess what? Strong and Sassy coming up next. And I'm so excited about the topic. And Ernest, you need to tune in and listen and learn a lot. So, initiating lovemaking.
Can you say that again? Your mic was
I was
off.
asking Emefa why she's excited about the topic.
So, I'm reading the topic. Initiating lovemaking, a man's duty, a woman's prerogative. You need to listen. Or you want to tell us more about it before we start?
Oh, if you stay tuned, then you'll find out
yes.
What we're talking about. But yes, you remember at the end of last week's show, I mentioned that during the show, I had gotten a number of text messages from some men who had said, because I mentioned very briefly initiating sex. And they were like, Charlie, you have to have a show, and talk about women initiating sex. Because for some of our wives, they're not initiating sex. We're initiating sex all the time. And then they say that is all that we want. And if we don't initiate, then it doesn't happen. So we decided that's okay.
Tonight we are
talking about it.
So I'm tuning. I have a lot to learn. So I'm tuning. And Ernest needs
is
to
learning
learn more
for the future. Yes.
Okay. So
let's talk about Pepsodent, because with Pepsodent.
Okay.
Is important in the initiation
Yes,
of sex.
very important. Yes. Fresh breath. You must use Pepsodent all the time.
So thank you very much for listening to Newsnight. And remember to brush your teeth with Pepsodent, because with Pepsodent, every smile matters. My name is Ernest Manu. And I did this with Apawu.